and then from there, because an energy independent country can be a strong country. If you can, you are energy sufficient, you can defend yourself in many ways. And it's a very strong national defense argument as well to be energy independent or sufficient. From a point of view of defense as well, and there have been conversations across the last 4, 5 years and 10 years that one is defense spending, second is the geopolitical challenges we are facing at all the time, and then things keep on happening. There are small triggers here and there. What's your observation from the past and then now where we are?
So we produced a paper in 2023, which we called Energy Security is National Security, because you're absolutely right, Dev. If you haven't got a secure energy system domestically, it's very hard to build a national security framework. It's not necessarily self-sufficient in every single form of energy, but certainly you need things like fuel reserves, and and you certainly can't do it, say, with an electricity grid built on solar and wind energy. I mean, the solar panels come from China. So in the baseload system that we have, everyone talks about these aging coal plants. That's a term of propaganda. Coal plants, properly maintained, do run for decades and decades and decades. And with a bit of refurbishment, it'd be nothing to get 50 or 60 years out of a coal plant. The fact that, and even, something like Cogan Creek in Queensland was only commissioned in 2007. So we're going from that system where you got assets, and it's the same with nuclear. If we could have had nuclear in Australia, assets that can run for 50 or 60 years. Instead, we're going to install vast amounts of solar panels across landscapes, desecrating landscapes across Australia and on rooftops. And then these things have a life, if you're lucky, 15 years. And then you've got to replace them. And who are we going to buy them from? Well, we've got to go back to China and say, please, can we have some more solar panels to supply the system that we have? The wind factories, again, you're looking at, say, 20 years life. And again, the preponderance of suppliers, not quite all of the market, but the preponderance of suppliers from China. That is not conducive to energy security. When you build a system which relies on a constant supply of solar panels and wind turbines from the country that is the most destabilising force in global affairs, and with all sorts of terrible scenarios coming up, that is not conducive to energy security. Energy security is a strong grid built on baseload energy that we can produce here and protect. And so I've got another point to make, yes, but I should let you jump in. So.
No, please finish.
Well, and then the other aspect is, if you've beggared your economy, if it is impossible to make things in this country because energy is so expensive, and that is the realm in which we are, how can we build the local facilities for the mines and the missiles and the drones that we need for our workforce? In World War II, and you're a student of military history, Dev, we decided that we needed a military aircraft, and they were producing them at Essendon Airport about a year after they'd actually made that decision. They went and got some designs from America and they tooled up, and we could make things. The reason why people aren't making things in Australia at the moment is because a combination of insane energy costs, the labour laws, dealing with the unions, the cost of infrastructure, building infrastructure. So we're not getting that defence industry which sits underneath national security. And our other work, of course, is meanwhile the government is only spending 2% of our GDP on defence. We said it should, even by the end of this term of government, it should get to 3%. And now we're looking at 3.5 and 4, which is the challenge the Americans are putting. And I don't want to do it to please the Americans. I want to do it because we actually need to spend that money to build the capabilities for our military that we need.